afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to the Raymond Hall Show. My name is Raymond Hall, and I'm here with the co-host, Erica Flynn Walker.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And we are happy to be here and to be invited into your space and into your homes and everything else. I have to tell you, I'm a little bit challenged today because I thought we covered this bridge some time ago when we talked about guns and gun violence. So I kind of tore up the show because it breaks my heart. So I pondered and I wondered and I asked, what is it that I can say? You talk to people, you ask them to do what they're supposed to do, just have a little bit of service.
Right.
And it didn't seem, so I wrote this, and I hope it gets someone attention. It says, for me today has more challenges than a normal day. Service, a different conversation. But what happens when you doesn't get a chance?
To have that conversation.
And these children that were slaughtered, they didn't get a chance to have a service conversation.
Right.
They were slaughtered as children. Here again, we're faced with the slaughter of human beings, children who, for no reason of their own, their lives have been just snuffed out, just have been taken away, and it's unconscionable.
It really is, and I see here that you've named the weapon. They were murdered with the AR-15 weapon, which is a semi-automatic machine gun. Am I correct?
Right. Well, we talked about the Russian thing, Kalashnikov, whatever the man's name that made it. We've been through this.
Right. We have, and which led me to, you can continue with your thought.
Go ahead.
Well, it led me to do some research about the gun laws. And also, Felicia here, our engineer, mentioned that would be a good time and topic to touch on that. So I did a little research, and one of the things that we have to be aware of is that the gun laws are different from state to state. Is that true?
That's true. The gun laws are different from state to state.
So the gun law in the state of Florida is, really, really laxed.
Well, this is the place where to stand your ground.
Exactly, to stand your ground, and pretty much you don't have to get a permit. You don't have to. You
have to get a permit for a handgun, but you don't have to. It's complicated. You have to. Wait until a certain age for a handgun, but you have to be 21, I think it is, for a handgun, but you don't have to be that age for for what is called a long rifle, and that's what this thing is in. But that's not where I was going with this. I want to go somewhere else again. It says in previous shows, we emptied our hearts in speaking about the weapon, just like Mrs. Walker's talking about. Its origin, its effectiveness as an assault weapon, its ability to cause massive harm and or slaughter in a short period of time. Here we are again. We spoke about elected officials who seem to be unable to tackle the issue of gun control due to fear of retaliation, reprisal, or rebuttal. We spoke about the voting public who we asked to get involved, and we demand that you contact your elected officials and work on behalf of your community as a house. That's what you're talking about. Work under the gun laws in Florida and everything else.
Knowing the differences between
and here we are again. Here we are again. 17 lives slaughtered. No chance, no opportunity to develop their service voice. America, you're killing your own. Through your selfishness to not get up and do what you're supposed to do and give some type of service. See, this show anymore, I don't know anything to tell you anything, to say or suggest anything else to you. I spoke to the people who are in the state of B. When you're in a state of B, that means that you are here. You're able to breathe. You're able to move. You are in a state of B. ING says that you are in an active state of B, being. The people who are slaughtered are no longer in a state of B. So since you're in a state of B and the people that are alive can't speak to you, maybe you ought to listen to the dead.
Wait a minute now.
That's true. If the people living can't speak to you and get up to you and do something, maybe you ought to think about all of those people that were slaughtered in the middle of cotton fields because they couldn't do anything else because they were slaves. Maybe you ought to think about all of the men and women who lost their lives with dignity and honor serving for this country because they swore and took an oath to defend the nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Maybe you ought to listen to the voice of that man who lost his life while he was trying to protect his family. Maybe you ought to listen to the voice of the woman who lost her life while she was trying to provide for her family. Maybe you ought to hear the voices from all of those people that came before us, and they didn't say that we today have to give life or limb in order to give our service. All they asked us to do is having a continuing voice and build on the platform that they had given us. And all we ask in service, I don't care one way or another, whether you're Republican, Democrat, it makes no difference to me. What makes difference to me is life. This nation, the United States of America, each and every community that is a part of it is about life. Everybody should have an opportunity to grow up, live, make decisions, and be able to move on the service voice of themselves and on the voice of commitment they have for themselves. Usually I wait to the end to get on my soapbox, but I'm telling you, you ain't listening to me. You're not listening to Mrs. Walker. You're not listening to the mothers and fathers that's crying because they lost their children. Well, maybe you ought to listen to the dead.
Mr. Hall.
We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to get back. We got a wonderful show today.
Hallelujah. Well, praise God and thank you for that. And we'll be right back with you, continuing our topic on the violence that has occurred in Florida. And also we're going to have a little bit more upbeat conversation when we come back.
Yeah.
We'll be
we have two guests with us.
Two guests.
We have Levada Theus from the California Senior Legislature. Okay. She's going to talk to us about the importance of the California Senior Legislature and the service that we can give through that. And then we have a wonderful treat. We have Mrs. Ernestine Johnson with us.
Yes.
She is a wonderful treat. She actually walked with Dr. Martin Luther King. She's a community person. She's a member of my church. She's a Sunday school teacher. I just love her.
Love her, yes.
Yeah. So
you will definitely be blessed by her presence and the time that she's going to be with us here on the show. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with you. Thank you.
All right, and thank you. And we are back. We're here with Mrs. Erica Flynn Walker, and we're here with our first guest, Miss Lavada Theus. Lavada, are you on the line?
I am on the line, Mr. Hall. Good to be with you today.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it is good to hear your voice. I hear you've been under the weather. I'm scrambling here because I need to put these headphones on.
Hello.
And go. We got you. Okay.
All right, and hello, Miss Walker. Good to hear your voice again. I have been a little bit under the weather, so I'm getting back to me. And I just have to take a moment, to give thanks to God and ask Him to have mercy on those people that have been impacted by this latest senseless violence. So we just have to keep them in prayer.
Okay. So, hold on just 1 second. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties.
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear?
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Okay, very good. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing better than I have been.
Oh, good.
What is my phone doing?
So we thank you for gracing our audience and our stage today and coming on to spend some time with us.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to it. I guess I'm battling what a lot of people are battling with, this little virus that's going around. But I'm just honored to be here to share my journey of service, because my whole life has been about service. I'm a native of Los Angeles, retired public school teacher, school administrator. And when I retired, I still had a need to give back. Got involved with being an advocate for seniors. And I really didn't realize what that need was until I retired myself. And boy, our seniors have many needs and not many voices addressed at helping them. So I have become extremely involved in doing that. I'm a commissioner with LA County Commissioner for Older Adults for District 2 with Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas. I also am a part of what entity called the California Senior Legislature, and that's sort of my heart right now. And I became involved in that because I saw an opportunity to represent the voice to this zone. I'm out in senior centers, working with seniors in a variety of events and activities to identify their needs. And I was most recently on the staff of our Assembly member, Sebastian Ridley Thomas.
Okay.
He resigned, and which sort of just hurt my heart because he had agreed to be our voice on the state legislature. When I say voice, I'm talking about
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know because I'm a witness to the work that the CSL and LaCour and a lot of the organizations do in the community and at the state level and everything else. But because we're running so late, I'm going to jump ahead for us. Talk to us about a couple of things. Talk to us about the CSL. There were 3 points that I wanted us to really make sure that we talked about. One, briefly, was what was the CSL and why is it so very important, and how do people support it?
Okay, very good. California Senior Legislature is a nonprofit organization who was set up and organized by our late governor, Jerry Brown, back in 1982. Our governor now again. But it was set up to have a medium between the seniors and the legislatures. The California Senior Legislature is set up just like the state legislature.
Like the regular legislature. Okay. So now, how do we do that to, as the CSL, how do they interact with the regular legislature in order to effect a change in the senior community of California?
Well, that's what CSL's whole function is. We are out there trying to identify the needs of seniors. We meet once a year and produce proposals presented to the legislatures. And we go to Sacramento when we walk the halls, when we beat on doors, talking to our legislators and trying to get them to support our causes, which are the seniors' causes.
So someone in the community has a issue that the CSL would pick up, and then they write that up as a proposal. Am I understanding you correctly?
Well, someone in the community has a concern. They need to present it to someone on the California legislature, on CSL.
Okay.
I take that concern. For example, long-term care. One of the problems that came to our attention was the need to raise the personal needs allowance from $35 a month to $80. We wanted it raised. So the designated number we came up was $81 a month. So we take that idea, write it up, and we go and try to get a legislature to agree with us. And my assembly member took one of our causes. We were trying to get our names back on the state tax checkoff form.
Okay.
And he pushed that through for us.
Okay.
So I took that problem to him, and he had to push it through the legislature, and it became law. So we're now back on the tax form, which that brings us to number 3, Mr. Hall, how all your listeners can help. We need your contributions. You know, we are a nonprofit. We get our funds from the seniors that represent us, and you can help us by donating on your state tax checkoff form on line 438. I need you to donate.
Line 438.
Donate on line 438. There are about, 18 million seniors. If every senior, if every person, if you don't donate more than $1, that would truly help us.
Okay. So because we have, again, a short time, let's hit some points on this thing that's very important. Ladies and gentlemen, at one time, there was a number of states that had a format like the California Senior Legislature. That number of states has been greatly reduced. And when you want to kill a program, simply take away its money. Now, most things that are in the legislature, they come through appropriations. They appropriate money in the budget for certain things to happen. Well, in order for the California Senior Legislature, to which I am a member, and Lavada is a member. You're a member of the JRC, aren't you, Lavada? The Joint Rules Committee. Okay, so she's a member of the Joint Rules Committee. That's the highest body. I may not be using the right words, but it's one of it's the primary body, ruling body of the California Senior Legislature. This is a service because seniors need a voice.
Yes, they do.
They need a voice. They need to, you don't have to worry about the problem of the noise of the old horse and buggy anymore. At one time that was a major concern. Noise was a major concern in communities, and it was a major concern to the elderly. Okay, but because there are no more horses, you don't need that anymore. But each generation has its own needs in and of itself. Okay, like we never had a thing with mass murders in earlier times.
Right, like I don't remember that when I was, in school, thinking about this was an issue that someone would come into school and just open fire. So it's just we're in a different time, and so we're going to have a different type of conversation. Yeah.
So what it is, we need everybody to have a service voice on the CSL. Now, it's more than just your money. Know who your state representative is. Know who. One of the things that I am really impressed about Assemblyman Sebastian Thomas and what he did, look up the committees that he chaired, and look up what those committees had to do with the district,
Certain, right,
the 54 district, all of the state,
Right.
but he
that
was
particular
the
district.
54 district where
Okay.
he was. So you want to make sure that you have you have the opportunity to have two kind of service voices here. One would be to make sure that when you do your taxes, you look for
Line 438.
line 438.
438.
And make that donation.
Right.
And the second thing is to get involved in your community. If you have a senior in the community, check on them. See
Absolutely.
what they need. See, and then don't just always see how you can help them. Listen to them. They may be able to share something that will be able to help you.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, Lavada, it's so much more I know that you have, and I wish that we could get it all out. We're definitely going to have you back. Well, you're scheduled to come back anyway because
Right.
you're going to talk to us about this special election. You're not getting away.
All right.
Okay. So look, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and
And
thank
my heart,
you
too.
from
Thank
the
you so
community's heart for everything that you do. All of the people that you work with in LaCour and the CSL, we want to give a special shout out to our CSL member, Mr. Chuck Mitchell. He has a few health concerns. And before we move also, I want to give a special prayer for our family member, Miss Felicia's mother.
Is in surgery right now.
Yeah,
so
she's in surgery. So we know the power of prayer, and we want to lift that up.
Yes, we
so we are going to say goodbye. We'll be talking to you a little bit later. Now, is it any information quickly that you want to give? A website, telephone number, anything like that you want to give that they can look at it?
If you want additional information, the website is www. The number 4 BSL.org.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we will be talking to you later, and thank you so much for being on the Raymond Hall Show.
Thank you so much. It was good hearing your voice, and you continue a speedy recovery.
Oh, thank you. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all
you
for
so much.
tuning in again to the Raymond Hall Show. We are going to get in touch with our second guest, Mrs. Ernestine Johnson.
Yes.
Oh, she's. I
She's
told
a
her
dear friend. I love her.
Yes, I told her to check with me about 2:30. That was why my phone was going off the hook.
And that was her?
Yeah, when you said 2:30 to some people, it's 2:30.
Exactly.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to
let's take a quick break, just a few minutes,
okay,
and then we'll be
take a
right
minute.
back with you at
We'll
the
be right
Raymond
back.
Hall Show. Thanks so much.
She's going to be calling in. Well, good afternoon, we're back, and we're back with the part that
we would like to say to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Raymond Hall Show, and also you can watch us live through Morris Media Live. Go to Morris Media Live. There's a little button at the top of the website. Click on that button, and you can watch us live at the Raymond Hall Show here at Morris Media. Thank you.
Okay. And how is I'm a Luxury doing?
I'm a Luxury.
You're growing?
We're still growing, although we're under construction. So we would like for each and every one of you to take a little time and come to I'mALuxury.com.
Okay.
And let us know what you think about us by leaving a comment. Next, we're going to go into our next segment, which is our Black History segment. And we will be having a conversation with Miss Ernestine Johnson.
Miss Johnson, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Hi, Miss Johnson. How are you doing today? This is Erica.
I'm doing good, Erica. How are you?
I'm well. You're on the Raymond Hall Show here with Mr. Raymond Hall himself.
Oh, great.
Well, I've got to tell you, this is a special treat for me because we both are members of Grant AME Church.
Right.
And we were talking one day, and she says she was in Memphis.
Right.
And I said, well, I was born and raised in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me she was right there with Dr. King, and it's just been special to me ever since.
I know. Yeah. I met you myself one day there at the church, and I was just so enamored by you and all of your stamina and vigor towards the time when you were there with Dr. Martin Luther King. And so we would like for you to give us, a little short story on that event that took place in your life.
Yeah. Now, give us a little background, a little brief background first to tell us how you got involved.
Okay, how I got involved there in Memphis
yes.
is that naturally I was born in Mississippi, and I use the term reared.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Johnson. Hold on just 1 second, because if I don't say this, your pastor and mine is going to look strange at me on Sunday.
Right.
We are both members of Grant AME Church at 105th and Central, where Dr. J. Arthur Rump is senior pastor. So to Dr. Rump, all the ministerial staff and everyone there, we say thank you, and thank you for all the work you do in the community. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, then back again. How I became interested in and became involved with and continued to follow up with the ideas of Dr. Martin Luther King, being raised in Mississippi. And I was raised by parents, guardians, who always taught us as children to think of ourselves as being someone worthwhile. And I carried that with me all through my life. So therefore, when I saw various things going on as it relates to black people, my people, and progress and all of that, which affected me and everybody around me, then I found an opportunity when I could to become involved with any activities that would help to project the black idea. Okay? And Dr. Martin Luther King was there with the sanitation workers at that time.
Right.
Okay. So we were there passing out pamphlets and brochures, and we boycotted stores and all of that as a part of our, participation in the black movement there in Memphis, Tennessee. And I tell you, I had one of the most exciting experiences. And that was to be able to march with Dr. Martin Luther King's group. And my church, where they gathered together, was Cleveland Temple AME Church.
Right.
There in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right. I remember it very well.
Yes. And so we gathered there, and I was able to see everybody. I was so excited. My goodness. I saw Harry Belafonte.
Wow.
He was there. And I think it was President Kennedy's brother.
Yes, he was.
And there I am a little tiny something up there, an adult, however, with among all of these important people, and I was just so proud.
How old were you at that time, Miss Johnson?
Oh, I was an adult, probably in my 30s.
Oh, wow. What an experience.
Now, I was a teen, but I remember it. But I see you remember the Harry Belafontes. I remember Jesse Jackson. Because he had the big afro.
Right.
Okay.
We had kinship. I had a big back afro then. And I mean, it was just a time that invigorated and moved a nation.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, briefly tell us about something, because you and I, we getting close to our little minutes here, but you and I have, we remember that snowstorm when they were supposed to have the first. Now, you want to hear a miracle?
We got to talk about this.
This was a miracle.
Yes, this is a miracle.
This is a miracle because I was working, I had a job, and so naturally we had all of my coworkers and we had talked about we were going to stay off. I said, well, I'm going to find a reason to be sick,
right?
And I'm going to call in, and I definitely was going to do that, no matter what. And so the boss, naturally, Mr. White, he was the boss.
Right.
And he made an announcement the day before.
Right.
That anybody who stayed off tomorrow would be fired.
Wow.
And that was tomorrow was the day of the march.
Right.
This was in, I guess in the fall of the year. I can't remember now. However, I said to myself, well, I'm still going to be off tomorrow, knowing that I didn't need to get laid off.
Right.
Because I had 2 children to take care of also, I said, but I'm staying off tomorrow. I'm going to march. And do you know that that evening was a beautiful evening? The sun was shining brightly. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. And that night I went to bed, prepared to get up the next morning to go march. And I said to myself, I'll figure it out. And do you know that before day, it hailed, the snow came down, the wires, electrical wires were just blocked with snow. The cars couldn't move in the street hardly, and the buses couldn't run. They couldn't go to work.
Yeah.
So therefore, everything was blocked so that we could go to the march.
Wow.
And we walked in the snow and the ice to the march.
Right.
And we were proud to be there.
Yeah,
Proud.
yeah. It was a difficult time. My mother took me downtown, and I love my mama. We running up on about 4 minutes. So, Mrs. Johnson, I want to first of all
thank you so much for that story. We really appreciate your service.
I want to thank you, because here's what's now going to happen. Mrs. Walker talked about our social platform. Your voice, your story, your history, your service now has been recorded for all times. Yes. So someone will be able to go back and hear from you to be able to have an understanding of what they're supposed to do. I love you. I want to thank you for calling in. We're going to do this again, and I'm going to let Miss Walker schedule you on the show, because she's here on time. She beats me up. You supposed to be here on time. I can't say a word because she's right. Okay. That's what the Lord talks about, is righteousness, and I'm old enough to know that when righteousness speaks, you should shut up and listen. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She said my line. Exactly.
Yes, but thank you so very much. We will be seeing each other Sunday morning. All of you who want to know more about any of the things that we do, give us a call here at the Raymond Hall Show. You can reach us at 323-841-6375. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You.
All right. Talk to you later.
We appreciate your conversation
today.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
That
She's
was
such a
lovely.
sweetheart.
Oh my God, I got a cold chill over my body when she was talking about. She had in her mind, even though she had the threat of losing her job, she still knew she was going to that march. And look what happened. She didn't have to lose her job because it all worked itself out.
We remember that. That was in April.
Wow.
In
and
Memphis,
it
we
snowed.
had 14. Some people say it was 10. I remember 14. So I'm not going for 10, 14. It's the same thing.
Right.
Memphis, Tennessee, snow in April. You know, in April, that's when you see everything blooming and the pretty flowers and everything.
That's pre-spring.
Snow.
Right.
Okay. So we've got just a few minutes. I'm going to touch on something quickly because we had a third segment, and that was our Vet Corner segment.
Okay.
And we had a couple of things. We had the American Legion Post 109 meeting the last Monday, and there was a lot of questions about process. The process for filing a claim. We're going to talk about that next week because that's not something we can talk about in 30 seconds.
You don't want to rush through that.
No, we can't. Okay. So any closing comments, remarks, anything?
Closing comments and remarks are just take some time out of your busy day to say a prayer for the individuals that were have been fatally wounded in the occurrence that happened in Florida. Also, just take some time out to appreciate everything that you do have. We spend a lot of time, in my opinion, talking about what we don't have, but what I want to just end for me today is just be grateful and thankful for the things that you do have. You woke up this morning. You could use your arms, your eyes. You could take care of yourself. Be thankful, in my opinion, from Erica Flynn Walker to you, for the things that you do have rather than focusing on the things that you don't have. That's my insight and input for today. And also I want to say thank you to Mr. Hall for the opportunity. Thank you to Morris Media Studios for giving us the opportunity to be here. And we look forward to your comments and your voice somewhere at the Raymond Hall Show through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter platform.
Okay. I want to leave you with this. It's not from me. It's just through me. Mm-hmm. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me beside still waters for his name's sake. Read it for yourself. When you have times that are difficult times, there is a place of peace. There is a place of understanding. I'm here because God has been extremely good to me. And he is also extremely good to us.
Yes,
not only this nation, but to this world.
Yes.
Let's not tear it up. Mm-hmm. Let's cherish what we have. This is the Raymond Hall Show, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Follow us if you like us. Tell a friend if you care to. But do something. Have some service in your life. Have a good evening.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. Ta-ta.